Okay, so in this discussion, I'll explain to you how you do debugging of a program, right? What is debugging? Debugging is basically a process of executing a program step by step and understanding the flow in the program, right? Debugging is called a combination of art and science. Science because you have to have knowledge of what you are trying to do. Art because you should have that skill to understand, debug, troubleshoot a problem. Okay, so with when you get started and when you get involved in programming and when you start to fix problems, you will end up using a lot of debugging techniques. Okay, so in this example which I'm going to cover with you, two examples, I'll show you how you can execute your program step by step and see how you can basically understand the flow. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a small package here. I'll call it com.c2t.debug debug, I'll call it. Okay, so first of all, I'll take a very simple program of for loop, right? We have already done a for loop, right? So you can do the same thing with what you say while loop as well. uh, okay, so I will create a main method here, main, and here I'll say for int I equal to 0, I is less than 5, and then I'll say I plus plus, open bracket, close bracket, right? And here I am saying sys, here I am going to say sys out of I equal to plus of I, right? Now what I want to do is I want to see how I can debug this program, or rather execute the program step by step and understand how it is basically working for me. Okay, so what I do is, first of all, I have to put a breakpoint. Breakpoint is a point where your program execution will stop. Okay, so for doing that, I'll double click on line number 15. There is a blue color ball here, right? So once I double click here, then I'll say right click and then run a, sorry, I'll choose debug as Java application. Okay, so when you do this, it will launch your debug perspective. So if you will see here top right, currently it is in Java perspective, right? So if you will see, uh, there is a Java perspective here on the place where I have my mouse here, right? Now if you click on yes, it will switch to a debug mode or debug perspective with lot of windows. What is the use of this windows, I will explain to you. And the important part is that execution your program will suspend at the breakpoint, right? Suspend mean it will stop there and it will wait for user input, that you are the user of this program. So now there are multiple options you can make use of. So if you will go to this run menu here, there is a step into, means go into the code. Step over, F6 is there. Step over means go to the next line. So I'm going to use step over. I'll say F6 here. Okay, so it goes to the next line, right? Now if I hover my mouse on I can see the current value of I, right? And then if I say F6, this line is got executed, right? And then control is coming back to the loop, right? Now either I can hover my mouse and see still increment of I has not happened. If I say F6, I will be incremented and then the value of I will become 2, right? So this is how you can do step by step execution. Either you can see the values of the variable here, or you can go to window, show view, there is an option to display variables here. Okay, so there will be one window here, variables. If you will see here, it shows the value of I, right, in that particular method, right? So this is a very simple program to see the values of I changing 1 2 3 until 4, and then it will come out of the loop. So right, so I'll say F6 again, right? So currently F6 I is 3, once more it will go, and now what is the value? It has become 4. 4 is less than 5, yes, and it comes out of the loop, right? So your execution of the program is done, right? So after that you can say F8. F8 means run up till the end. So there is an F8, resume execution, right? So this was a very simple program. Let me try it with one more program, a little bit more difficult program. Okay, so I hope you remember that coffee program, right? When where we started looking at coffee machine, right, to understand functions. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a breakpoint on line number 22. Okay, and then I'll say right click, debug as Java application. So it will launch a debug perspective. Now if I say F6, it will go to next line, which is line number 24. But if I want to go inside the method, I'll say F5. F5 is step into, right? So if you will see, F5 is step into. So I'll press F5 here. So you will see the control has got transferred to the method, right? Meaning that it is executing that method now. So I'll say F6, 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 and after execution of that method, the control will come back to the place from where it left, right? Again, if I have to go back, I'll say F5, right? F6, 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 right? Now if I say F6 now, it will not go because I went to the next line. F6 means step over. F5 means step into the method. So where can I find this definition? If you will go here, you will see step into is for F5 and step over is for F6, right? So this is where you can find. So like this, you can say F6 and then F8, right? Now we understand how the program execution is happening. Now let's try to understand the execution of threads, which I just explained to you, right? So that you know how so switching between thread is happening. Okay, so let me open my thread. Okay, so this is the thread program we just saw, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a breakpoint here, line number 23, and I'm going to put a breakpoint at line number 6. Now I will right click and debug as Java application, and let's see, it will launch, right? So currently only one thread is there, main is there, right? So can you see on the right here? Okay, there is a thread main, right? Yes. Now what I'm going to do is I'll say F6, it will go now I'll say F6 start. So can you see one more thread has come here, right? So this is another thread. Now where is my control currently? uh, Now if I say F6, if I say again, okay, let me put a breakpoint here, okay, so that I know where the execution is going. I'll say F6 again. I'll press F8. F8 is to resume until the next breakpoint. So I'll press F8. Still it is with here F8. It went to the other method, right? The control is here. I did not call run myself. It is, see, initially the control was here. Now it is here. Check the one at the bottom. Before it was here. It is at this one, right? Now if I press F8, can you see the control coming to this thread? Yes, so it is switching back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, right? So F8 again, F8, down, up, down, up, down, right? So this is how you can put a breakpoint and see the execution of your program, right? So if you will see here, one of the thread has got over, right? Only one is remaining. So main thread is over, only one, this one is remaining. If I say F8, that is also done, right? So this is how you basically execute your program in debug mode and see how the control is flowing from one point to another, right? This is a concept of debugging, or rather executing your program step by step and understanding how the flow is going.